At Chartres, walking out of Paris towards Chartres with the pilgrimage with the English Martyrs chapter, and our
to restore all things in Christ.
Is currently doing a reading from
with him
Pius
and with
X.
the Church's teaching on this point.
And I've chosen
we will
a
begin
point where we're going
our
uphill
pilgrimage.
to record again, which was a bad idea.
The incredible destiny of a postman's son.
Just trying to give you some snippets throughout the day so you get a sense of the pilgrimage here. Mark Lambert tuned in earlier and said he's watching from his bed.
1835.
Next year, Lambert and Ashenden, you're joining me. So this wonderful pilgrimage, we set off, we've done about 8 kilometres, about 45 kilometres to go, not to go, today.
So I'll just give you a little glimpse. On September the 19th, 1858. His pastoral qualities and dedication led him to assume increasingly important responsibilities year after year. In 1884, he was appointed Bishop of Mantua. In 1893, in 1893, Leo XIII appointed him Patriarch of Venice and late Cardinal. At the death of Leo XIII, the conclave was convened. Out of fragility, Cardinal Sarto purchased a round-trip ticket to Rome.
So we're here, if you've just joined me, I'm just recording today. I'll be popping in live now and again as I make my way with the other pilgrims from Paris to Chartres. And you'll see that we've been singing the Rosary. There are different chapters. I'm with the English Martyrs. We have another group from England, St. Alban, and one behind, Our Lady of Walston. We've got the Americans, the French, there's a small group of the Maltese up ahead. And
to restore all things in Christ.
We have meditations, readings, prayers as we journey together. So I'm just tuning in from time to time to give you a sense of the pilgrimage.
Because he is Lord of all things. It is par excellence, the motto of the Christian layperson engaged in society. Supporting the faith of Christians. For St. Pius X, this restoration begins with safeguarding Catholic doctrine, that is, its principles. At that time, a heresy called modernism was spreading more and more.
Boo modernism.
It spoke of returning to a supposed lost purity of the gospel, questioned the historical truth of the gospel, presented faith as a religious feeling, rejected tradition, and claimed that dogmas should change with the times. Sounds very familiar, doesn't it? St. Pius X warned all Catholics in the encyclical Pascendi Dominici Gregis, denouncing the ambiguous language of these writings and condemning modernism as the sewer of all heresies. Sounds very appropriate. But St. Pius X did not stop at condemnation. He was concerned with education because he believed that every Christian must deeply know their faith to be courageous witnesses to Christ, a light to the world. To this end, he produced a synthesis of faith elements called the Catechism of St. Pius X. Dear pilgrim, remember that one cannot give what one does not have. Do not settle for vague memories of your childhood catechism. Continue to read and educate yourselves so that you may be the salt of the earth in a world that has forgotten God, but perhaps unknowingly thirsts to know him. Restoring societies. St. Pius X was Pope during a time of great upheaval among nations which rejected their Christian past, especially in France, with the 1905 law separating church and state and the persecution of religious congregations. In the face of this storm, St. Pius X continued to publicly affirm the rights of Jesus Christ over earthly societies. He said, "We must recall vigorously, in these times of anarchy, society cannot be built otherwise than as God has built it. No civilization does not need to be invented anew, nor does a new society need to be built in the clouds. it has already been. It is Christian civilization. It is the Catholic city. It only needs to be established and restored continuously on its natural and divine foundations against the ever-recurring attacks of unhealthy utopia, rebellion, and impiety. Institutiare omnia in Christo. Is Christ's reign an outdated doctrine? One might think that such a vision of society, Christian society, is a beautiful utopia, a dream that could still be indulged in at the beginning of the 20th century, but is entirely outdated today. However, dear pilgrim, know that contrary to what many say, doctrine remains unchanging. It is Christ himself who affirms it. He is truth itself. And what was true yesterday will be true until the end of time. After St. Pius X, Pope Pius XI wrote two major encyclicals on the reign of Christ, which I encourage you to read. Ubi's Arcano in 1922, and especially Quos Primas.
If you've just tuned in, I'm here at the Chartres pilgrimage, walking from Paris to Chartres Cathedral in France, obviously. I'm walking with the English martyrs, and our chapter leader, our captain, is reading some of the teachings of Pope Pius X. And we're having meditations and prayers as we journey. And I've promised to look in with live videos on our channel from time to time over the next couple of days, so that it'll give you a sense of what the pilgrimage is like here. Here's Emily Bennett. She's listening. She's listening with a headset so that everyone can hear the readings and the meditations as we walk. So well equipped,
both individually and in their family and public lives.
Thank you for joining me. Do look in throughout the day. I'll pop up at random times, hopefully not choosing when we're going uphill, which is what I've just done. A slight incline, which was a bad idea. Anyway, here we go. We've done about 8 kilometres with 40, I think 43 or 44 kilometres in total today. So we've done 8. Yeah. Say a prayer for us. We'll pray for all of you watching, keeping all our viewers of Catholic Unscripted in our prayers as we make our way. And I'll be back later with another update. God bless. Hello Joe. I didn't have space to pack my reading glasses, so I'm afraid it's a push to read your comments. Hi Declan, hi Carl, Joe and anyone else joining us. And as I said, Lambert and Ashenden, you're coming with me next year. Okay. Tune in later. The history lesson, okay. The history lesson going on is throughout this long pilgrimage, this walk, we're having meditations, prayers, song. We've just sung the Rosary, and then some readings. They're given to the chapter leaders. They're not designed themselves, so each chapter leader will be given the booklet of prayers and meditations. So we just had meditations from about St. Pius X on modernism, very apt, and James, who's our chapter leader, is continuing on, so I should cut this now. And we've all got little headsets, so if we're not near him, we can listen on our headsets.
It is true that many have interpreted Vatican II.
God bless all, and more later, just another few scenes from the Chartres pilgrimage.
Thereby discouraging lay people from fulfilling their duty to our nation. Furthermore, the obligation to uphold Christ's kingship over society.
You're just seeing here a small group of the whole pilgrimage. That it goes on for a couple of hours from front to back. It would take a couple of hours to pass through. So many pilgrims. I think possibly the most they've ever had, but I have to check that. So going uphill now. We'll switch off and see you all soon. Do tune in throughout the day. Check our live feed. God bless.